Hey guys, now my action is write a C program to input the first character of the shape. Here we have to only consider there are rectangle, triangle and circle. Then the R will be the first character of rectangle and then T for triangle, C for circle. Okay. So we have to calculate the area using those inputs. The following table shows the inputs and formula to calculate the area of different shapes. Here when it's come to a particular shape type, we have different kind of inputs needed. And here is the formula for rectangle and this one is for triangle and here this is for circle. Okay, now we can go ahead and create our C file in our IDE. Open your IDE and then create your file, let's say shape.c. Okay, now we have to say hash include this angle bracket. Inside that we have to say stdio dot h ending angle bracket. Now we need to create the main function, which is in main, and then braces we have to return 0. Now here we have to ask input from user. Firstly, I will go ahead and say printf, then say please enter the first character of the shape. Now we have to clearly define that the R for rectangle, here let's copy that, it will be easier. R for rectangle and then triangle for T for triangle, and final one C for circle. Okay, now when user run this, if we get scanf in the below, user have to input their value in the same line of this please enter the first character and this whole thing. Okay, now in the below we can say scanf and then parentheses. Now we need the character input. For that, here we can go ahead and create a char variable, let's say ch letter, like that. Now in the scanf we have to say in the double quotations percentage sign and then C. C is for character type variables and then comma, then ampersand. Ampersand means we are going to define, here is the memory location. Okay, when we are providing some variable name to this scanf function, we need to use ampersand symbol to let compiler to understand where is the memory location of this variable is. Now we have to end up with the semicolon. Now let's understand that what will happen if we run this. To run this, you have to visit into your current path of this file in the terminal. Here I am in that path. Then you have to say gcc and then this file name, which is shape.c. you have to include that file extension, then -o. Finally put the executable file name that you want. Here in my case I need as shape. You can define that as you want. Here that executable file has been created. Now to run this, you have to clearly define we are in the current path, and in the current current path we have to run this particular file. For that we have to say ./, okay, otherwise it will won't work. For example, if we directly type shape here, it will not work. Then we have to say ./, shape, executable file name. There are no extension for that. Okay, now you can see we have to input that in the same line. That was the issue that I mentioned earlier. To fix that, here we can type \n, then it will create a new line. Then this scanf will available in the next line. Let's go ahead and execute again the gcc shape.c, and this one will compile that file again. Then here we can run executable file again. Here you can see we can input that value in the next line. Alright, now if we get a printf of this ch letter, we can output that. But here in this scenario, for the rectangle we need more inputs, width and length. For that we can use if statement. In the parentheses we can say ch letter is equals to, now if it is equals to r, now in the braces we can printf another thing to ask for width and length. Enter the width of the rectangle. Right, now we need to create a new line. For that we can say \n. In the below I can say scanf. Now need variable for width. For that actually we need to use a float, okay, this one, float. Then let's say that as width rec, like that. Here inside double quotations I can say %, and then c, and then comma, ampersand, with rec. Alright, now to see clearly this is working, I can get a printf for now. Printf, this is not C, this is F, okay, actually that's my mistake. And now we can get a printf to see whether this is clearly working. Let's say double quotations, inside that %, and then F. Now we can say with rec. We don't want to include the ampersand here. When we are outputting something, we don't have to use ampersand. Alright, now let's run again. Firstly we have to compile gcc r. Okay, here we have a warning, result of comparison against string literal is unspecified. To fix this, actually we have to do is just replace these double quotations with the single quotation, because this is a character, not a string, okay. Then we have to run again. Now it's working, okay, don't worry. Now let's input r here. Here it is asking the width of the rectangle. Let's say 34.5. I need the output as 30.5, but here we have more zeros. To fix that, when we are displaying the output here, after the percentage symbol we have to say 0 dot and how many decimal places we need to show. let's limits to two places, okay, after the point. Alright, now we can go ahead and run again. I have to compile that. Now I can enter R, and then width of the rectangle, let's say about like this. Now you can see it has been limited to 2 decimal places. Now here let's go to the scenario again. Alright, we need length also. Length. To get the length, after reading the width, we have to read that also. I'm going to delete this print statement, and then here I will add the length variable, float length rec, okay, like that. Then after that I will add another print statement in next to scanf. By we are reading the width of the rectangle. After that we have to discuss the length. Alright, here we have to say scanf, and then percentage symbol f again, and we are reading it to ampersand length rec. Okay, here that's fine. Then we have to calculate with this width by length. To calculate, we can go ahead and say another float. Then let's define that as final result. Then I will do the calculation now. Width rec by length rec. Okay, then we can output our result. Here we can go ahead and say printf area of this rectangle is, and then I will add colon here, and then result as I will show float. Then I want to limit decimal places after the point, I mean dot. To do that I can say 0, and let's limit that into 3, okay, and then here comma this variable name. We don't have to put ampersand when we are displaying an output. Okay, we have to end up with the semicolon. Right now this is the full code. Then we can run again. After compiling, I will say R, and width of the rectangle, let's say 10, and enter the length of the rectangle, let's say as 5. It's 50, and decimal places after the point we have 3. Here let's go to the scenario. Sample output 1. Enter the first character as R, and we need a 5.5, and they are limited that decimal places after this point into 2 values. We can do that. Here I will change this into 0.2, then it will show only 2 values after the point. Then I can run again. R, width is 5.5 and length is 10. Length is 10. Now results should be 55.00 here. Okay, now let's go for triangle. Here we need two inputs, base and height. In the code I will add another else if statement. Remember, we can use else if. Don't use just a single if statement again, otherwise it will execute as another case. Now I will say inside parentheses ch letter and checking whether it is equals to. Remember, don't use double quotations, you have to use single quotations. Now inside that we can put t. Right, now in the braces, firstly I will ask input for base. Printf, please provide the base value of the triangle, and then semicolon. I will add a backslash and n, it will create a new line. So I will create variable float and variable name as base. Okay, then I will go for scanf. Inside double quotations, percentage symbol, and then f. It will get value from user as a float. Remember, we cannot limit digit when reading scanf. Okay, we can do the limitation after we get that value and displaying that value. Okay, now we have to specify ampersand and then base. Okay, now I will ask for the height that's available in this scenario here. For that I will say printf and then please provide the height value of the triangle. Then I will set another line here, backslash n, and then semicolon. Also I will create another variable here, I can use that line. Then scanf again, percentage f, and then ampersand height. That's fine. Here we have to do the mathematical calculation now. To get the area, we can follow this base by height divided by 2. I can add some little comment here to remember what I have to do. Now do the calculation. I can go up with another variable. Let's say area of t is equals to base. Here we have that base, multiply it by height and divide by 2 and then semicolon. Now we can printf area of the triangle is percentage f, because we want to output the float here. Then just variable name area of t. Okay, now we can try by running. In the terminal I can compile that. Remember, we have to compile the file after changes to see changes, and then // executable file name. Then I will say t. Now let's say 10 and height let's say something like 5, and we are getting something like this. So to limit this, remember we can use 0.2, then we can only have this 2 digit, okay, after the point. Let's say t, it should be capital T, and then base value let's say 10 and 2 as height. Okay, I will receive this one. Let me go ahead and try these input. Base as 4, height as 10. I will run again. T base as 4, height as 10. Okay, we have our output area of the triangle is 20.00. Now I need to go to the third scenario. Circle ch letter is equals to C. Remember, use single quotations. Alright, now we have our pi here. Secondly, we have to multiply it by radius and also multiply it by radius again. Let's go ahead and do that. Here, this value multiply it by rad and again multiply it by rad. Alright, we can end up with the semicolon. Now we want to output the result. We can printf then we want to show our area of the circle is, we can output float and comma here, then the variable which is circle area. Alright, now we can go ahead and run this. In the terminal, I will compile the file again and run the executable file. Now I will type C here. Now it is asking me radius of the circle. Now let's provide the radius of the circle as 4. Now we have this result, but it is too heavy. Let's simplify that. Here, when we are showing the output, we can go ahead and put 0 dot and how many decimal places we need after the point. Let's get 2. Now we can go ahead and recompile and run. Now let's say 4. Right, actually firstly we have to say C, then 4 as the radius of the circle. Now we have only 2 decimal places. Okay, that's it. And if we hover again to the question, here it asks if user input invalid character, display an error message. We can do that using else statement, because we are only checking this tree input R, T, C. If user input any other thing, we can show printf invalid input like that and then semicolon. Okay, now we can check that again. I will go ahead and enter something wrong L here. I can see invalid input. Okay, that's it. Alright, now I'll see you in the next lecture.